Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Bloody Jacob here, and I just wanted to do a video about the final episode of Breaking Bad, the series finale, Felina. And I know this is incredibly late to be doing a video about it, but I just got done rewatching the series for the second time with my dad. So I figured it was a good time to, since it's fresh in my mind again, to do a video giving my thoughts on the final episode of the show. This isn't going to be a really lengthy review or anything like that. I'm just going to go over the main parts about the episode. As we've seen in the episode before, Jack and his men had Andrea killed, and they threatened Jesse with killing Brock if he tried to escape, again. And, of course, Walt's in isolation after the whole Jack and Hank thing. And I love the part where he sees Gretchen and Elliot on the TV, discrediting him even more for his work and contributions to gray matter being a success, of theirs. And I thought it was great where he went to their house and had Skinny Pete and Badger use the laser pointers to make it look like they were trained hitmen or something like that. And he used that as a way to still likely get Junior his money when he turns 18, which I thought was really clever on Walt's part. Again, the writing really nice, tying back to the earlier seasons, with Gretchen and Elliot, getting some closure with that too. Some closure with that. So that part was really good. Of course, you love the line where Elliot has that little knife and Walt says, "If you're gonna go that way, you're gonna need a bigger knife." And Elliot just drops it after that. That was awesome. I'm just looking at this episode summary to make sure I don't miss anything I want to talk about. And of course, when Walt meets Lydia and Todd at the diner, wherever it is, like a cafe or a restaurant, wherever you want to call it, he makes it sound like he wants to, work with Jack, and he has a way so they won't need as much methamphetamine to cook it, and saving him money, but it's really just a setup so he can have a meeting with Jack. He has that whole turret or machine gun, set up in the trunk of his car. So he's just using this as a way to get a meeting with, Todd's Uncle Jack. And it was really clever with Walt, putting the rice and, of course, going back to his house, seeing how broken down it is as Heisenberg spray painted on the wall. Uses the ricin from the outlet that he hid, and he puts into Lydia's coffee, or not the coffee, but the tea, I mean. And he puts in the stevia packets or whatever it is, and of course that's basically means Lydia's gonna die pretty soon, within the next couple days anyway. So that was really nice. And of course, after that, Walt goes to Skylar. You see Skylar on the phone with Marie. And Marie saying how, people are saying, calling in sightings that Walt's back in town. Even seeing him all over the place. I mentioned one of their neighbors, Walt casually said hi to. I think it was Carol. And, then, Marie says he's only going to go one of three places, to you, to me, or to Junior, the school. And then right after Marie hangs up, you see Walt's already standing in the kitchen, while Skylar was on the phone with Marie. And, Skylar gives him 5 minutes to talk. And, that's where we see Walt admit that he did all the drug stuff for him. For me, he said he liked it, and he was good at it. It made him feel alive, which, you do understand to a degree. If you looked at where his life was at the beginning of the series, you can sort of understand that whole midlife thing. But at the same time, I still think it was, in large part, for the sake of his family before he died. It was to leave him the money, I think. But as it went on, you could kind of see he got more and more personally interested in the world he was in, that rush, and feeling more important, things like that. So it was kind of like a half and half thing by the end of it, I think. But it was still, good for Skylar. She probably felt good hearing Walt admit that it was at least in part for himself. So Walt admitted that, which took a lot, I'm sure. And then he asks Skylar to see, Holly one more time, their baby. And you kind of see a touching scene of, Walt, rubbing Holly's head in the crib, and Skylar's kind of tearing up watching him do that. And they just kind of like share a silent stare before Walt leaves. Which it's kind of a bittersweet thing, I guess. And he also tells Skylar that it was Jack and his crew that murdered Hank and Steve Gomez, and buried him out in the desert. Skylar may or may not believe him on that, but then he gives Skylar the lottery ticket, which has the coordinates to, where they buried Hank and Gomez. So, they can get at least some kind of proper funeral, I think. Which really brings up a lot of, emotion. I think Skylar might have believed Walt that it was Jack and his men that murdered Hank and Gomez, but I'm sure it'll still stick with him because of the DEA and things like that. It'll still probably be on Walt, but maybe if Skylar believes him, that's something at least. And then after that, of course, he wants to have that meeting with Jack and his men. Of course, after talking to Skinny Pete and Badger, he thought it was Jesse who was cooking all the meth, but once he gets there, he realizes Jesse's being held against his will by Jack and Todd and his men, and being tortured and held against his will and things like that. So I think Walt might have been wanting to kill Jesse because he sort of blames Jesse for putting Hank in the situation of being killed in the first place. Sort of, I guess. But once he's seen Jesse, I think he kind of rethought that. Rethink. He did rethink that, I think. After he's seen Jesse, in person. And of course, he really. I love how he played Jack's ego to get him to bring Jesse in. That was smart. It shows, how Walt can pretty much use his intelligence to play to Jack's ego and just give him a situation he wants. And, then of course Walt tackles Jesse to the ground, Jack and his men think, it's some kind of fight, they're laughing and stuff, but then, Walt has the car keys and the, thing to unlock they would think to unlock the door, but, once Walt presses it and he has Jesse covered on the ground, everyone else is standing up. The trunk pops up and then the machine gun starts firing and he, kills most of Jack's men. Jack is hit partially by it and, Todd was down. Todd got down in time, I think. Of course, Walt held Jesse down, to keep him safe. And I think there's like a ricochet bullet that might have hit Walt in the side. And after the machine gun stopped firing, Jesse used the handcuffs and he strangled Todd, which Todd really deserved because of what he did to Andrea in the last episode. So Jesse kills Todd, which is, satisfying to see. After the whole, the kid being shot and the Andrea thing, of course he was beaten by Todd too, so it was, like I said, satisfying, gratifying to see Jesse kill him. And, of course Walt got up after that, and, Jack was still alive. And Walt had the gun, and, Jack stopped him. Jack wanted to smoke one last time, Then he made an offer to Walt, saying he could, show him where his money is. But, this is great. Walt shoots Jack in the head mid-sentence, just like Jack did to Hank and Ozymandias. And after that, Walt completely avenged Hank, killing all of Jack's men and Jack himself. That's great. It felt so good to see Jack get just shot in the head like that mid-sentence. That is so insane to see. I was really happy about that, of course. And, of course, you get a really emotional scene after that between Walt and Jesse. And Walt puts the gun on the ground and, slides it over to Jesse. Jesse picks it up, and Walt, and Jesse says, say the words, say you want this. After Walt says, do it, and Walt says, I want this. And then that's when I think Jesse looks down and he sort of notices the wound in Walt's side from that ricochet bullet from the machine gun. And, and Jesse drops the gun and says, do it yourself. And then Jesse exits the building, and then Walt calls Lydia. Well, actually, no. Walt doesn't call Lydia. Todd's phone rings. Lydia's trying to call Todd, asking him if Walt was dead. Walt answers it, and he says, hello, Lydia, feeling a bit under the weather, because of the whole ricin thing in her tea and the stevia. She's like, oh, God. And, and Walt hangs up, after a few other words, and so Lydia's gone. That was good. Their last conversation, that was kind of funny. Of course, Walt walks out with Jesse, and before Jesse gets to his car, this is a great moment. Walt and Jesse share like final stare between each other. It is kind of emotional for both of them, and Walt nods to Jesse. He smirks a little bit, and Jesse does the same thing. Now, I think that may have given sign of like a understanding between them, or maybe a bit of forgiveness from Jesse, I think. So that was really emotional to see, and it was a great scene. Finally seeing them, okay with each other again to a degree. That was nice. It was really touching for sure. And of course, Jesse drives off after that. He busts down the fences, and he's laughing and screaming. It's really it was really nice to see Jesse get a happy ending for the most part. Well, at least he escaped. I won't call it a happy ending for him because of the whole Andrea thing, but at least he has a chance now. It's great seeing him be able to escape and things like that. And after that, we see Walt go into the lab, that Jack had, and he's sort of looking over all the equipment and sort of reminiscing. He sees a gas mask and things like that. And you see his reflection in one of the pieces of equipment, and you finally see Walt collapse. As you hear the sirens, police sirens. And Walt kind of dies with a smile on his face, so that's really nice to see. So yeah, all in all, a fantastic episode, a fantastic finale, a fantastic series finale for sure. It was, I still think it could have been one of the best single episodes of any series I've ever seen for sure. And they really did everything. They did everything the best they could have done in the final episode of Breaking Bad. I mean, everything I wanted to happen happened. Walt redeemed himself. Jesse got away. Jack was killed. Again, that fits in with Walt redeeming himself. He got some closure with really nice tie back with Gretchen and Elliot. Everything I wanted to happen happened in that episode, and all felt so satisfying. So a great final episode for Breaking Bad. Really, every other show should just take a note from how Breaking Bad did their final episode. Dexter, well, the finale of Dexter doesn't even compare to the finale of Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad closed their show off so much better, so much more well done, and satisfying for fans of the show to see, I think. Breaking Bad did it a million times better, in my opinion. I mean, you guys already know my thoughts on the final episode, Dexter. It was good for a season finale, but it definitely wasn't good for a final episode, I don't think. Breaking Bad gave you all the closure you could ask for, and just wrapped everything up in a great little bow. So, yeah, Breaking Bad overall, I think, is a better TV series overall. I mean, I still love Dexter himself as a character, but Breaking Bad as a whole, with Walter White being such a great character himself, Breaking Bad's a better show, I'll say it right now. You might hear me talk about that more when I do a video talking about my favorite TV shows of all time and trying to put them in an order. You might hear me talk more about it then. I'm not sure when that will be, but sometime you'll probably see a video like that. of course, I'll talk about Breaking Bad, Dexter, Being Human, The Walking Dead, things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review on this. Obviously, most of everyone who wanted to see it by now has seen it, the episode, I mean. But I always, I know I'm way late because I seen it a long time ago myself. I have all the DVDs of each season, but I just wanted to make sure I did a video on it eventually, and here it is. So if you guys enjoyed it, if you watched it for this long, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.